Hi, this is Andy Wallace with zInspector, and today we're going to talk about our new integration with RentManager. And what this is going to allow you to do is get all of your properties from RentManager, get them into the zInspector website, and that's going to further synchronize them with the mobile app. You're going to be able to do your inspections on the mobile app with all your standard inspection tools. Then that inspection history is actually going to show back up in RentManager in the unit history. Now the first step as part of that setup is to configure a user in RentManager to have the right permissions and privileges so we can actually do that various synchronization and access the right data in your RentManager account. Okay, so here I'm looking at my RentManager account, and I've got a standard view of a number of properties here. Now what I need to do is be an admin user, and I'm going to go to the admin tab, go to users, and now I'm going to create a new user. And RentManager does recommend you actually use the last name and username as zInspector, and they're going to use that for various purposes, but that's kind of how they can make sure the integration is happening appropriately. But you can here create any password you want, and us at zInspector, we will not have access to this password, so you'll need to be able to remember it at least that one time, so you can enter it onto the zInspector website. Now you're probably not going to want to copy permissions from another user, because we're going to set things up here so it's exactly what we need to do this integration. It's fine to put in here a supervisor if you want to do that. So I'm going to hit save. So now I've got this user. Now almost certainly you're going to want to just synchronize all of your properties. However, you can only synchronize some of them if you want to do that, and that's just fine. But most likely you're going to synchronize everything from RentManager into zInspector. Now you also, on this page here, you need to enable API access. If for some reason you don't see that option, then we're going to need to make sure we get access from RentManager. We've got a little form that you can fill out. It's part of the same support article. You can fill that out. We're going to get instructions to RentManager so you get that API access, and it could take up to one business day for them to actually give you that access, but we're going to need that here in order for us to actually do the synchronization. Okay, so now I'm going to get saved. So I've actually created the user. I've got this user now in my RentManager account, but I'm still going to do one step further. I'm going to go into privileges, and so these are all the various privileges that they have here in RentManager. Now though, there's a bunch of different ones here, but the most important ones is I'm going to enable all of the property data. And so what this is going to do is take things like your various units, your unit types, single family, multifamily, put all that into zInspector. So we're going to get all that data, even like the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. That's all going to come from this information, and we're going to make that available for inspections in zInspector. Now we're not going to need this accounting info because you're going to be doing that here in RentManager. So we're going to just unclick this management fee info as well as the banking info. So that's pretty much all we need to do to give this zInspector user access to get the property list from RentManager and get that into zInspector. Okay, but now what we're also going to do is we want to get the history reports back from zInspector and into RentManager. And so with that, I'm going to go and open up history, and I'm going to add both the property history as well as the unit history. Now we are going to be rolling out a number of other things with this integration. So at some point you're probably going to need to go in and enable some owner data so we can get that contact data as well as your tenant contact data, and perhaps some of these other ones, and we can show that to you in other videos. But at least with these permissions that we've done here, you can do the very basic integration, and you can actually then get started. Okay, so that's really everything you need to do to get this user set up in RentManager. We're going to actually show you in a separate video how you enter in those credentials, and then you pick the various settings for zInspector to actually get all this data. So that's going to happen in a separate video. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to contact us at support at zInspector.com. If you need API access, you can also fill out this form that's as part of the same support article, or you may also want to contact RentManager directly. Okay, we look forward to helping you out. Take care. Bye-bye.